Going live, going live, going live, going live, going live, going live, going live. Yeah! What's going on, YouTube? It's Unger to the Max here. A salute to you. And I know I haven't done this for a while, but we're we're going we're still going with the division and schedule prediction videos. And what better day to do these two divisions than today? The AFC West and the NFC North. Why? Well, first off, the NFC North is going to be on total display tonight as the Green Bay Packers travel to Soldier Field to take on the Chicago Bears. Go Bears. Beat the Packers. Yeah, I hate the Packers. And it's also good to do the AFC West because the Raiders have been making headlines because of one player. And the Steelers know all about him. And you probably do too, for the wrong reasons. Yeah, I'm talking about Antonio Brown. You know, he got drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers, and in only his second year, he was paid. He got a contract to make him, like, I believe, the highest paid NFL or highest paid. I almost said NFL quarterback. No, NFL wide receiver. The highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. And it started out good for him for a while. You could tell him and Ben Roethlisberger had a good connection going. You could just see that. But then for some reason, I don't know if what changed with Antonio Brown, but something changed and he just became like this drama queen. I mean, he was posting, like, he did a Facebook Live of Mike Tomlin's post-game press conference after I believe they beat Kansas City. He just did other stuff that ticked off the Steelers, and so they ended up trading him to Oakland. Well, it was also that he wanted to be traded because he said, like, Ben Roethlisberger, like, disrespected him or something. I don't know the full details. So they traded him to Oakland. And, you know, he goes to Oakland where they have a rookie GM, Mike Mayock, who the Raiders selected to be their GM, even though he had no previous experience. He was a media member. For God's sakes, where's my, like, assistant coaching position in the NBA? Because, geez, I'm a media member. I'm a small part of the media. Yeah. So, geez, where's my assistant coaching job in the NBA or the NBA G League? For God's sakes. Or a position in, like, NBA player development. Just saying. So he gets to Oakland, and the NFL puts in this new helmet that every player is required to wear. And it's all because of, like, player safety and, you know, less concussions and all the all the CTE research that the league is doing and all that, and they're trying to make the league safer. And Antonio Brown's like, no, I want to wear my old helmet. So he files a grievance. And, of course, that gets denied. And then he files a second grievance. And that gets denied. And while he's doing this, he's missing practices, not working with Derek Carr, who, by the way, is not owed 1 cent by the Raiders next season. Derek Carr is not owed any money. He's not owed nothing next season. Nothing. He's not owed anything. Okay? So let's make that very clear. The Oakland Raiders, who will be moving to Vegas next season, this is their final year in Oakland, do not owe Derek Carr any amount of money. Nothing. Zero. Zilch. So, and then Derek Carr wants to prove, hey, I'm your franchise quarterback. I'm your guy. And the Raiders said, okay, prove it to us. We'll give you Antonio Brown. We'll give you Tyrell Williams. He hasn't gotten a chance to practice really with Antonio Brown because Antonio Brown's been causing all this drama with, oh, I want to wear my old helmet. And so he hasn't been at the field. And it made Mike Mayock so upset that he wrote Antonio Brown a letter and stating that the Raiders were fining Antonio Brown. And then how does Antonio Brown respond? By posting the letter on Instagram and writing a post on it. Let's see if I can find the post, because I do have an Instagram. So let's see if I can find it. Hold on 1 second. Oh, his account is private, so he probably won't accept. Let's see. All right, Antonio Brown's. Let's see if I can find. Oh, here we go. So the letter from Mike Mayock says, and I quote, Dear Antonio, as you know, you did not participate in the Raiders walkthrough on August 22nd. Your absence from practice was unexcused. Accordingly, you are hereby fined $13,950 pursuant to Article 42, Section 1A, VII of the NFL Collective Bargaining Agreement and the Raiders Club Discipline Schedule. You were previously fined $40,000 for missing Raiders preseason training camp on August 18th. Please be advised that should you continue to miss mandatory team activities, including practices and games, the Raiders reserve the right to impose additional remedies available under the club's discipline schedule, the CBA, and your NFL player contract, including but not limited to additional fines and discipline for engaging in conduct detrimental to the club. Sincerely, Mike Mayock, General Manager. And like I said, Antonio Brown responded back. And hold on 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. I had to take care of something. And so Antonio Brown made an Instagram post and responded with and wrote on the letter, at Raiders, when your own team want to hate, but there's no stopping me now. Devil is a lie. Everyone got to pay this year. So we clear? So do I think Antonio Brown is going to play one snap with the Oakland Raiders? Nope. No, I don't. I think he's going to get suspended by the Raiders, and they will nullify his contract. He's guaranteed $30 million. Raiders are going to say, bye. That's my guess. I predict Antonio Brown will not play one snap for the Oakland Raiders this season. Not one. He will not. So, since we were talking about the Antonio Brown situation, and hopefully that's a good enough overview for you, Let's start with the AFC West. So obviously Kansas City won the division last season, and I think they're going to win the division again. I think they will have a better record than the Patriots. I think I said the Patriots will go 11-5. So I have the Chiefs going 12-4. Because again, my Super Bowl prediction, and I really hope this Super Bowl happens. My Super Bowl prediction is Chiefs Saints. I really want that Super Bowl to happen so bad. It would be way better than last season's Super Bowl, which was Rams Patriots. First off, if it's Chiefs Saints, that means, hey, the Patriots aren't in the Super Bowl, and everybody's happy. Just saying. I'm just checking my email super quick. Anyway. Oh, wow. Antonio Brown actually accepted my Instagram request. Oh, he said, yeah, it says on his account, this is my call God. This is my back account. Get this to 10K ASAP. I don't know if this is his real account or not. Not sure. Anyway, so let's talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. I think they're going to the Super Bowl, but they will lose to New Orleans. So, let's have a look at the Chiefs' schedule. Actually, it's perfect that we're doing the AFC West and NFC North on the same day, which means tomorrow we will be doing the AFC North and NFC West, although I'll be doing a separate video just for the Browns, and my friend Ryan will be joining me for that, so make sure you tune in for that. So here's the Chiefs' schedule. And as I go through the Chiefs' schedule, so I'm going to go through the Chiefs' schedule once, and then I'm going to go back through it again. And no. Actually, the way we'll do it is, as I go through the schedule, I'll say whether they win or lose that game. Week 1, they're at Jacksonville. I know that. All right, here we go. So, week 1 at Jacksonville, I'm going to say the Chiefs struggle in that game. I don't know if they'll be able to match up well with the Jaguars' defense very well. Yes, I know they have a great offense, although I think Tyreek Hill should have been suspended. I think that was a huge mistake by the NFL, but I'm not going to get into politics and stuff like that, although I did at the beginning by discussing Antonio Brown. But anyway, so I think the Chiefs lose at Jacksonville, but don't worry, week 2 they're at Oakland. They'll bounce right back and beat the Raiders, so they're 1-1. Week 3 is their home opener at Baltimore. Or home against Baltimore, I'm sorry. It wouldn't make sense for it to be the Chiefs' home opener and then say at Baltimore. No, they're home against Baltimore. And the reason they're playing the Ravens is because the Chiefs won their division last season and the Ravens won the AFC North. Although I think the Ravens should be in the AFC East and the Colts should be in the AFC North and the Dolphins should be in the AFC South. But whatever. The Ravens won the AFC North, so that means the Chiefs are playing the Ravens. And this was a great game last year when these two teams played. The fact that it's in Arrowhead and it's the Chiefs' home opener is the difference for me. One of my bucket list items is to go to a Chiefs game at Arrowhead. I don't know if I want to see a game at every NFL team's stadium, but there are some certain stadiums that I would love to see a game. Like, I want to go to a Saints game at the Superdome. I want to go to a Bears game at Soldier Field. I want to go to a Packers game at Lambeau. I want to go to a Seahawks game at CenturyLink. And I want to go to a Chiefs game at Arrowhead. Those are the 5 stadiums I really want to see. 5 NFL stadiums. Anyway, so week 4 at Detroit. This could be a little bit of a tricky game for the Chiefs because Matt Patricia is the Lions head coach. Where was he before becoming the Lions head coach? Correct. The Patriots defensive coordinator. Now, I know when he was with the Patriots, they didn't necessarily stop the Chiefs, but he was able to slow them down. But I don't think he has the same group. Obviously, he doesn't have the same group of players, but I don't think the Lions' defense has the same traits. There we go. As the Patriots' defense. So I think it'll be a tough game for the Chiefs, but they're going to win that game. So they start off 3-1, going into week 5 on Sunday Night Football against the Indianapolis Colts. And that's the reason they're playing the Colts is because the AFC West plays the AFC South. So they'll play the Texans, the Colts, the Titans, and the Jaguars. There we go. Duh. So, this will be a playoff rematch, except for one thing. Andrew Luck retired. And I know I said I was going to redo my AFC South Division preview video, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I had the Colts losing this game anyway. So, the Chiefs win, move to 4-1. Week 6, home against Houston. I'm actually really excited for this game. I think it could be one of the sneaky good games of the season. Really, it could be. I really and truly believe that. It could be a potential playoff preview too, because I do think the Texans are going to win their division, and they may have to go to Kansas City and play the Chiefs. So this could be an early season playoff matchup. And I think it's going to be tight throughout, but Mahomes is going to make a couple plays late, and the Chiefs win. So they move to 5-1. Week 7, Thursday Night Football at Denver. Having just played our very difficult Houston Texans defense, even without Jadeveon Clowney, and then having to go to Denver on a short week, that has all the makings of a loss. So the Chiefs are going to lose. So they'll be 5-2. And then a juicy one. Oh, I'm excited for this one. Week 8, Sunday Night Football. Here comes Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, who the Bears host tonight. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, I remember where I was. So week 8, Green Bay at Kansas City, Aaron Rodgers against Patrick Mahomes in Arrowhead Stadium. Could it be a possible Super Bowl preview? Maybe. Again, I'm saying Saints, Chiefs, but you never know. I mean, Matt LaFleur, or as Stephen A. Smith likes to say, Matt LaFleur. Okay, he does it better. He says it with a little bit more of a French accent. But I'll be very curious what the Packers' offense looks like, because this is going to be the first time in Aaron Rodgers' career, I believe since his rookie season maybe, that he's going to be coached by somebody other than Mike McCarthy. So nobody knows how this offense is going to look. Well, people will... So that's the challenge facing the Bears tonight. They don't know how this offense is going to look. I've heard that Jimmy Graham is going to be a lot more involved. Which is good, because last season I was like, I'm putting out a missing in action form for Jimmy Graham. Have you seen him? Because I haven't seen Jimmy Graham. I want to see the Jimmy Graham that tore up the league when he was with the Saints and then when he was with the Seahawks. I want to see that Jimmy Graham, although not tonight, because I want the Bears to win. And hopefully it doesn't come down to a field goal, because then everybody's going to think of the double doink, even though Cody Parkey is not with the Bears anymore. It's Eddie Pinheiro. But anyway, we'll get there. So right now we're talking about Packers, Chiefs, possible Super Bowl preview. I think the fact that it's in Kansas City makes the difference, and the Chiefs win. So then they're home. So that moves the Chiefs to 7-1. Then they're home for Minnesota. I think that the Chiefs are actually going to lose this game. Here's why. I think, yes, their defense has improved, but I don't think their defense has improved enough to stop a running back the quality of Dalvin Cook. And the Vikings have 3 good receivers. Well, one of them is a tight end. Kyle Rudolph, and then you have Adam Thielen on one side and Stephon Diggs on the other. And I think Kirk Cousins is going to take a step forward. So I think coming off a high of beating the Packers, the Chiefs are going to be a little too high, and the Vikings will take advantage of that and beat them, even though it's in Kansas City. So that moves them to 7-2, going into Week 10 at Tennessee, who the Browns play on opening week on Sunday. And I will be there. And I will be taking videos from First Energy Stadium. So be on the lookout for that. Hopefully I get to video Odell Beckham Jr.'s first touchdown as a Brown. We'll see. Like I said, I don't video things at games that I'm at for any particular reason. I'll just start filming. Maybe a great play happens, or like when I was at the Pacers, I had to film that because it was a crazy finish. Pacers came back from a 20-point deficit to defeat the Thunder. But like when I'm at a Browns game, I'll just start filming just because I'm like, okay, I want to start filming, and film it for like 3 or 4 minutes, because you never know. Anyway, so Sunday night or at Tennessee for Week 10. Yes, this is a prove it year for Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota, are you the future quarterback of the Tennessee Titans? Because you have Ryan Tannehill as your backup now. Not saying Tannehill's gonna be. Tannehill could replace you if you struggle, Mariota. I'm just saying. But even though it's in Tennessee, and the Titans do like to run it, and I do like their receivers of Corey Davis and A.J. Brown, and their defense can be tricky. Their secondary is very sneaky. I like the Titans' defensive front, but I don't think they're on the same level as the Chiefs. So I'm going to give Kansas City the win, and they move to 8-2. Now, Week 11, Monday Night Football against the LA Chargers, but it's not in Kansas City. It's going to be played, I believe, in Mexico City. So, although after last season, we'll see, because the Chiefs and Rams were supposed to play in Mexico City, and the ground field was not playable, so they moved it to LA, and that turned into one of the best games of the season. Oh man, I was hoping for that to be the Super Bowl. But, the Raps got involved in the NFC Championship and they got involved in the AFC Championship and gave us, Patriots Rams 13-3. What an exciting game! One of the worst Super Bowls I've ever seen. We got robbed last year. We got absolutely robbed. I wanted Chiefs Saints. You saw both offenses. It had all the makings of a great Super Bowl. Offensive fireworks. And we were robbed because of a missed pass interference call and some terrible missed calls in the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. First off, that ball, I will not let up this touching the guy on the shoulder. That's not roughing the passer. What? Why does Tom Brady all of a sudden get special treatment? And in my opinion, that ball did touch, I believe it was Hogan's thumb, and it did change directions. So that play should have been Chiefs' ball. But D Ford was definitely offside. And the overtime rule, do the Chiefs have somewhat of a case? Yes, but at the same time, the Patriots ran the same play on third down every single time, and you did not stop it. Whose fault is that? The refs? No, that's your fault, Kansas City. That's your fault. Okay, we're not even at the Patriots game yet. Anyway, so this game's in Mexico City, maybe, but it's technically a Chiefs home game. Chiefs-Chargers, this game is very unpredictable, but being that it's a Chiefs home game, I guess no. Chargers win this game. Yep, the Chargers are going to win. So that pushes the Chiefs' record to 8-3 going into their bye week in Week 12. Week 13, home against Oakland. Now, just saying, Week 14, they're at New England. So, I don't think they will do this, but they better not look past Oakland and look ahead to New England, which I'm concerned they may do that. But I don't think they will, but I'm concerned. But the Raiders are a terrible team. I mean, they've got drama galore. Antonio Brown probably won't be on the team. And I'm not sure if Derek Carr is their future quarterback. Raiders just have too many question marks. Chiefs win that game, 9-3. And then we get the AFC Championship rematch. But why does it have to be in New England again? Why can't the Chiefs have this game at home? My God. Can the Chiefs have a home game against the Patriots in the regular season, please? Jeez. It's at New England again. And yes, the Chiefs will put up a great fight. And yeah, but it's in New England. I don't want to do this, but the Patriots are going to win. So 9-3, 9-4, then home against Denver. And this is another game where they could overlook because week 16 they're at Chicago. So they could potentially overlook Denver and look ahead to Chicago. And the Broncos are going to be a good team this season. I think they could be fighting for a playoff positioning in this game. So, and the Chiefs will be fighting for, to get the number 1 seed. So this game has I think will have a little bit riding on it. And being that it's in Kansas City tips the balance in the Chiefs' direction. So 10-4. So week 16 at Chicago, late in the season. I think it's going to be a great game, but I think being that it's in Chicago, in the cold, even though Kansas City is used to it, I think the Bears find a way to win this game. Not by a field goal, though. It'll be by like a touchdown or so. It won't be a blowout. It'll be by it'll be by 10. By 10, which is not a blowout. If it was like 31-0, that would be a blowout. But if it's like, 23-13, that's not a blowout. So, and then week 17, home against the Chargers. This could potentially be to decide who wins the division. But I think What? I think week 11 is technically a Chargers home game, and week 17 is a Chiefs home game. That's right. Week 11 is technically when they play the Chargers in Mexico City. That is technically a Chargers home game. Week 17 is a Chiefs home game. I'm pretty sure. Let me look at the Chargers schedule. Let's see. Week 11 on the Chargers schedule. Yes, that is a Chargers home game. Yes, week 11 is a Chargers home game, and week 17 is in Kansas City. There we go. So being that it's in Kansas City means the Chiefs are going to win. So there you go. There's the Chiefs' prediction. So their X factor to me will be Damian Williams, their running back. Yeah, I know they just signed LaShawn McCoy, but I think Damian Williams is going to be a bigger part of their offense. And my biggest question for the Chiefs, you brought in a new defensive coordinator, but you lost some of your key pieces. So are you going to have a good defense? And if you get the Patriots in that same situation, will you be able to stop them on third down? Because I think we all have a feeling, even though the Browns have retooled, and I think the Steelers will be a factor, and I think the Texans could be a factor, I think we all know that we're headed for Chiefs against Patriots in the AFC Championship. It's just a question of, will it be in Kansas City? Will it be in New England? And if it's in Kansas City, can the Chiefs finish the job? So let's move on to the Chargers. one of my favorite teams. Although I'm very upset that they're not in San Diego anymore. Because when I grew up, when I was little, my favorite player of all time was and still is LaDainian Tomlinson. And he played for the Chargers, not the Los Angeles Chargers. He played for the San Diego Chargers. So I grew up rooting for the Chargers, and I still do root for the Chargers a little bit. Not as much as I support the Browns, obviously. So if the Chargers play the Browns, I'm going to support the Browns. Just saying. But I've always supported the Chargers, especially when they were in San Diego. When I heard that, I understand that taxpayers didn't want to pay more money to build a new stadium for the Chargers. I understand that. But for Spanos to go, oh, we're just going to pick the team up and move them to Los Angeles and join the Rams. Really? Really? What a slap in the face that is to Chargers fans. Jeez. I mean, San Diego was one of the most loyal cities. Chargers fans packed Qualcomm Stadium. And for some reason, Spanos didn't care and just moved the team to LA. Los Angeles does not need 2 NFL teams. No, they don't. And you can tell there is way more fan support for the Rams than there is for the Chargers. You can just tell that. The Chargers never should have left out San Diego. Never. So I support the Chargers, but oh, am I angry about that. I am fuming. Yeah. So, the Chargers. Melvin Gordon's not there. Derwin James, not there. But for different reasons. Melvin Gordon wants a new contract, just like Zeke Elliott did. Although Melvin Gordon has 1 year left on his deal. Zeke Elliott had 2 years left on his deal. Big difference? Yes. So we'll see. And the Chargers have given permission to Melvin Gordon to speak to other teams about a possible trade, but nothing's happened with that. Yeah. So the Chargers. So week 1, they're home against Indianapolis. Which again, it's a home game, but it should be in Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego. But no, they're playing at the StubHub Center in Carson, California, while their stadium that they're going to share with the Rams gets built in Inglewood, California. And they're the Los Angeles Chargers. Give me a break. Move back to San Diego. That's where you belong. You know, I'm sorry, but I'm very upset about it. And it's annoying because as a Chargers fan, like I said, the reason I became a Chargers fan is because my favorite player of all time, LaDainian Tomlinson, played for them. And where did the Chargers play when Tomlinson was with them? San Diego! And I don't know why the Chargers wanted a new stadium. I thought Qualcomm Stadium was great, but I didn't live in San Diego and I didn't know everything, so maybe like the inside was crumbling or something. I'm not sure. But Spanos wanted a new stadium for the team, and unfortunately, for the city of San Diego, voted no. So yeah. So week 1, they play the Indianapolis Colts at home in Carson, California at the StubHub Center. Still should be in San Diego. I know, I've said that a lot, but I'm not going to stop. Anyway, so, home against the Colts, 1 o'clock game Pacific time, so 4 o'clock game in Indianapolis. I like Jacoby Brissett. I think will cause some problems for the Colts, or I'm sorry, for the Chargers, because Brissett can be a mobile quarterback. He is more of a pocket passer, but he will use his legs if he has to. And I like what they have on offense in Indy. They have T.Y. Hilton, Eric Ebron. They brought in Devin Funchess, Marlon Mack. And I really like what they have on defense with Darius Leonard and the rest of that defense. And that offensive line is good. But I understand why Andrew Luck retired. I mean, before this season, the Colts offensive line was hot garbage, and Andrew Luck was getting injured and then having to go through rehab. And then he would come back, get injured again. Same thing over and over again. And he's just like, I can't do this. And I think the Colts may be able to expose the fact that the Chargers are going to be without Derwin James, especially with Eric Ebron. But even with that, I think that the Chargers defense, Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram, are going to be able to get to Jacoby Brissett enough to throw him off. And I think even without Melvin Gordon, the Chargers have enough on offense. They have Keenan Allen, Phillip Rivers, Antonio Gates. I like Austin Eckler out of the backfield. Use him as a receiver too. So I'm going to say the Chargers win this game, but not by much. So week 2 at Detroit. So it's a 10 a.m. start for the Chargers. So anyway. Oh, that's for tomorrow. Cool. Anyway, so week 2 at Detroit. So as I mentioned with the Chiefs, I think Patricia's bringing a new swagger to the Lions. But I don't think they have enough on defense to stop the Chargers. So the Chargers win 2-0. Week 3, home against the Houston Texans. Even I think this will be the Chargers' first loss. I don't know. I just don't. For some reason, I don't love the matchup of Houston's defensive line against the Chargers' offensive line. And I don't see anybody. Casey Hayward might be able to slow down DeAndre Hopkins, but I don't think it'll be enough. I think Houston wins this game. So that moves the Chargers to 2-1. Week 4 at Miami. Dolphins are in total rebuild mode. Yes, it's a 10 a.m. game, but who cares? Chargers win. Week 5, home against the Broncos. Division games are always tough. Broncos are going to be fighting for a playoff position this year, but it's in LA. It should be in San Diego, but whatever. So I'm going to say the Chargers win, but not by much. Week 6, home against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Sunday Night Football. It's going to be a good game. I mean, the Chargers came back and beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh last year. Steelers are going to want revenge, and I think they get it. Steelers win. I think the Steelers win the AFC North. I'm going to say that now. Week 7 at Tennessee. Tough game for the Chargers, but I like the Chargers in this one. I just think they'll be able to get to Marcus Mariota and cause havoc. Week 8 at the Chicago Bears. I don't know how this game's not a primetime game, but it's not. And I think that's silly. But anyway, Week 8 at Chicago. What I don't like in this matchup is that Phillip Rivers is not a mobile quarterback. So he'll be a sitting duck for that Bears defensive rush. And that's what makes the difference. So Chicago wins. And then week 11, we got Aaron Rodgers coming to, and the Packers going on the road to play Phillip Rivers and the Chargers. This is gonna be a shootout. And normally, maybe I would pick the Packers to win this game. But I think the Chargers will somehow find a way to win this game. And then week 10, Thursday Night Football at Oakland. Raiders are dealing with too many problems. Chargers win. Week 11, Monday Night Football, home against the Kansas City Chiefs. The reason I say home is because it's technically a Chargers home game, but they're playing at Estadio Azteca in Mexico City. Chargers are going to split with the Chiefs this year. Chargers win at home, and the Chiefs will win in Week 17. There we go. So Week 12 is the Chargers bye week. Week 13 at Denver. Chargers are not going to sweep the Broncos, so the Broncos win. Week 14 at Jacksonville. I'm actually going to say the Jaguars win that game. Week 15, home against the Vikings on Sunday Night Football. I'm going to say the Chargers win that game. Week 16, home against the Raiders. Chargers are going to sweep the Raiders. And then, like I said, Week 17 at the Chiefs. The Chargers are going to lose that game. So, my X factor for the Chargers is who's going to be the other receiver for Phillip Rivers. You have Keenan Allen on one side, but who is going to be the other receiver on the other side for the Phillip Rivers? And can Justin Jackson and Austin Eckler carry the load? And then those are my two big questions. And my X factor, Casey Hayward. So let's move on to the Denver Broncos. Broncos are an interesting team. I'm thinking about buying their Super Bowl 50 championship film for my iPad. I'm not sure. Maybe. I'm not sure. But anyway, Week 1 at Oakland on Monday Night Football. Yes, it's the last regular season in Oakland, but I think even though the Raiders fans will be going crazy and all that, this Antonio Brown's drama is going to be on their minds too much, and they won't be able to fully focus on the Broncos. Denver takes advantage and beats the Raiders. Week 2, home against Chicago. Broncos home opener. I think it'll be a good, tight defensive battle, especially because Vic Fangio knows the Bears because he was their defensive coordinator last year. And I think that's what makes the difference and allows the Broncos to win. So they start off 2-0. Week 3 at Green Bay. Sorry, the Broncos don't have enough. They're going to lose. 2-1. Week 4, home against Jacksonville. Yeah, even though it's home in Denver, I don't like the matchup. I think Jacksonville is a little bit better than Denver, so they lose. So they fall to 2-2. Week 5 at the Chargers. I already said the Chargers are going to win, so 2-3. Week 6, home against Tennessee. Broncos will bounce back, 3-3. Week 7, Thursday Night Football against Kansas City. I'm pretty sure I said the Broncos are going to win this game. Week 8 at Indianapolis. I think the Broncos will be overlooking the Colts because they have the Browns at home next week, and that'll bite them in the butt because the Colts are going to win. And their losing streak will continue because even though they'll be looking ahead to us, we're still going to go into Denver and beat them. So the Broncos lose. Week 10 is their bye week. Week 11 at the Minnesota Vikings. Sorry, but Denver's going to lose that game too. Week 12, their losing streak finally ends because they're going to go to Buffalo and beat the Buffalo Bills. Week 13, home against the Chargers. I'm pretty sure I had the Chargers losing this game. Week 14 at Houston. I actually am going to pick the Broncos in this game. Week 15 at Kansas City. Yeah, sorry, the Chiefs are going to win this game. Week 16, home against Detroit. I think this could be a make or break game for Denver, but the Broncos find a way to pull it off. And week 17, home against the Raiders. Yeah, the Broncos are going to sweep the Raiders. So, my X factor for the Broncos, Drew Lock. When are the Broncos going to put him in? Are they going to put him in? If Joe Flacco struggles, and the crowd starts going, and the fans go, we want Drew Lock, does John Elway give in? Or do they stay with Joe Flacco and then let Drew Lock have the reins for the team next season? So, yeah. And then my biggest question is, they have a good receiver in Cortland Sutton, and I like Philip Lindsay, but who else is going to step up on offense for the Broncos? So now to the Oakland Raiders. The Oakland Raiders. It's going to be a terrible season for the Raiders. Just saying. They are barely going to win any games. Sorry, but they're not going to. I'm just saying that now. Okay. So week 1 against Denver. I just said the Broncos are going to win that game. So 0-1. Week 2, home against Kansas City. Yeah, sorry, you're not beating the Chiefs. 0-2. Week 3 at Minnesota. Vikings are way better than the Raiders. Vikings have one of the best defenses in the NFL. Vikings win. So 0-3. Week 4 at Indianapolis. Sure, why not? I'll say the Raiders win. Week 5, home against Chicago. Yeah, the Raiders are not winning this game. 1-4. Week 6 is their bye week. Week 7 at Green Bay. Yeah, sorry, Oakland, but you got no chance. 1-5. Week 8 at Houston. 1-6. Week 9, home against Detroit. 2-6. Why not? Week 10, Thursday Night Football against the Chargers. 2-7. Week 11, home against the Bengals. 3-7. Week 12 at the Jets. 3-8. Week 13 at the Chiefs. 3-9. Week 14, home against the Titans. 4-9. Week 15, home against the Jaguars. 4-10. Week 16 at the Chargers. 4-11. And at Denver, 4-12. Raiders just have too many problems. No, the Vikings are not going to win the NFC North. And we're about to talk about the NFC North. Just let me finish up with the Raiders. The Raiders, biggest question. What are they going to do about Antonio Brown? And can Derek Carr prove that he's the starting quarterback of the future for the Raiders? Again, as I said at the beginning of this, they don't owe him any money next season. Not 1 cent. So Derek Carr is going to have to prove that he is and it starts tonight. Okay, now let's get to the NFC North. Let's get to the NFC North. Arguably the best division in football. Arguably. So I want to start from the bottom and work our way up. So let's start with Detroit. I do think the Lions will be an improved team now. When I say bottom, I just don't think the Lions are quite at the level of Green Bay, Minnesota, and Chicago yet. But they're getting there. I like Stafford. I like what they have on offense with Kenny Golladay. And I like what they're doing on defense. I'm just not sure they I think they may be fighting for a playoff spot potentially, or they could finish in last place. Don't know. Plus, they have T.J. Hawkinson, and I love that. I think the Lions could be a tough team. So regular season week 1 at Arizona. It's Kyler Murray making his Cardinals debut in Arizona at home. You got all this hype, but I think the Lions are going to spoil it. And I think the Lions go into Arizona and get it done. So they start off 1-0. But unfortunately, their home opener is going to be spoiled by the LA Chargers in week 2. I just don't think the Lions have enough. And then week 3 at Philadelphia, Eagles are going to be one of the top teams in the NFC. I mean, can Carson Wentz stay healthy? That's the big question. But, I think he'll be healthy early in the season. And again, I like what the Lions are doing, but I don't think they're quite ready for the big boys yet. So I think they lose this game. So they start off 1-2. Then week 4, home against Kansas City. Again, I wish I could say the Lions are going to win this game, but even though Matt Patricia has experience against the Chiefs offense, because he was the defensive coordinator of the Patriots, I don't think he has the same style of players in Detroit that he had in New England, and I think the Chiefs beat them. So they're on a little bit of a losing streak, going 1-3 into their bye week, and then week 6, Monday Night Football at Green Bay. I want to pick the Lions, but no. 1-4. Week 7, home against Minnesota. It's home in Detroit. I'm going to say the Lions are going to beat the Vikings. So that's 2-4. Yes, 2-4. Week 8, home against the Giants. Lions are going to win that game. 3-4. And then week 9 at Oakland, 4-4. But week 10 at Chicago, nope. Bears are going to win. 4-5. Week 11, home against Dallas. I'm sorry. Dallas is just too good. 4-6. Week 12 at Washington. I think Washington could be a decent team, but Detroit wins this game. Week 13, Thursday Night Football against Chicago. I think the Lions spring an upset and pull it off. I don't think they'll sweep the Vikings. So in week 14, I'm going to say the Vikings get the win at Minnesota. Week 15, I think the Lions will defeat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Week 16, the Lions will lose at Denver. And I think in week 17, the Lions will spring another upset and beat the Packers. So that's my Lions prediction. So let's go to no, not Chicago. Let's go to Green Bay. All right, Green Bay Packers schedule. I think this division is coming down to Minnesota and Chicago. So I'm going to say it now. My prediction for week 1, Thursday Night Football, Packers at Bears. I'm wearing the Chicago Cubs hat. It's in Chicago. Yes, the Packers have a new offense. The Bears have never seen it. But the Bears will start to figure it out. They'll see what the Packers are doing. They'll make adjustments. And I think the Bears win a very close game. So that means I have the Bears winning this game. Week 2, home against the Vikings. I like the the Packers. So they go 1-1. I want to go to a game at Lambeau Field so bad. Week 3, home against Denver. Denver's defense will cause some problems, but I think the Packers squeak by. So 2-1. Week 4, Thursday night football against Philadelphia. I absolutely hate Thursday night football. I think Green Bay will be a little bit tired and beat up after having to play a tough, physical Broncos defense. And I think Philadelphia takes advantage and beats them. Week 5, at Dallas. I think the even yes, the Cowboys have Dak Prescott, Zeke Elliott, and Amari Cooper, but Aaron Rodgers always seems to find a way to go into Dallas and beat the Cowboys. And I don't see that changing. Packers win. Week 6, home against Monday Night Football against Detroit. I have the Packers winning that game. Week 7, home against Oakland. Sorry, the Raiders aren't even close to the Packers level. Packers win. Week 8 at Kansas City. I had Kansas City winning this game, so the Chiefs win. And week 9 at the Chargers. I'm pretty sure I had the Chargers winning this game. Week 10, home against Carolina. I'm actually going to say the Panthers win this game. So a 3-game losing streak for the Packers. And week 12 at San Francisco, I'm going to say the Packers win a very, very close game. Week 13 at the Giants, Packers roll. Week 14, home against Washington, Green Bay wins by a wide margin. Week 15, home against Chicago, Packers will not get swept, so the Packers win. Week 16, Monday Night Football at Minnesota, Vikings get the win. And week 17 at Detroit, Packers win. There you go. So, obviously, my biggest question for the Packers is, what's your offense going to look like under Matt LaFleur? And Mike Pettine, you didn't do well in Cleveland, but you seem to have improved on as DC of the Packers. Can your defense slow down these high-powered offenses you're going to face? And who's going to step up to complement Devontae Adams? And he's my X factor. No, Aaron Jones is my X factor. I heard he's going to be a bigger part of the offense. So, he's my X factor. So, let's go with the Minnesota Vikings next. So, I have the Bear. So, this is how I have the division going. So, I have it going Lions, Packers, Vikings, Bears. So, week 1, home against Atlanta. I have Minnesota winning this game, but not by much. Week 2 at Green Bay, Packers win. Week 3, home against Oakland, Vikings roll. Week 4 at Chicago, Bears win. Week 5 at New York, Vikings win. Week 6, home against Philadelphia. I'm excited for this game. Possible rematch of the NFC Championship from 2 years ago. And then the year after, the Vikings beat them in Philly. And I know the Viking or Eagles are going to want revenge, especially since they're going to the stadium where they won the Super Bowl. I think they'll be caught up a little too much in the Super Bowl euphoria of remembering everything, and the Vikings take advantage and beat them. Week 7 at Detroit. The Lions are improving, but not quite enough. So the Vikings win. Week 8, home against Washington. It's the Kirk Cousins Bowl. It's in Minnesota. Minnesota wins. Week 9, I'm going to say the Vikings spring an upset in Kansas City. Week 10 at Dallas. Hold on, I'm just doing something. Hold on, I'm just doing something super quick. There we go. I just entered a contest for the Minnesota Vikings. Where was I? Oh yeah, week 11, home against Denver. I think it'll be a tough physical game, but the Vikings find a way to get the win. Week 12 is their bye week. Week 13, Monday Night Football at Seattle. Seattle wins. Week 14, home against Detroit. Lions win. Vikings win. Whoops. Week 15 at the LA Chargers. I'm going to say the Vikings lose. Week 16, Monday Night Football against Green Bay in Minnesota. Minnesota gets the win. And I think Week 17 will be for the division in Minnesota. I'm actually going to say the Vikings win, and they win the division. So I should have really previewed the Vikings Bears first. Anyway, so let's go to the Chicago Bears. And this is my last team. As I said already, I think the Bears are going to win tonight against Green Bay. It's in Chicago. I think the Bears take advantage of that, and they win. But let's see what I think about the rest of their schedule. Week 1, home against Green Bay. Like I said, Bears win. Week 2 at Denver. I'm going to say the Broncos spring the upset. So 1-1. Week 3 at Washington, Monday Night Football. Bears win. 2-1. Week 4, home against Minnesota. 3-1. Week 5 at Oakland. 4-1. Week 6 is their bye week. Week 7, home against New Orleans. The fact that it's at home makes the difference. Saints seem to struggle outside of the dome. 5-1. Home against the Chargers for week 8. 6-1. But barely. Week 9 at Philadelphia. 6-2. I think the Eagles are going to spring an upset there. Not really an upset, actually. But the Eagles are going to win. Don't worry. They'll bounce back in week 10 against Detroit and go 7-2. Week 11 at the Rams. I'm going to say the Rams win. So 7-3. Week 12, home against the Giants. 8-3. Week 13 at Detroit. 8-4. Week 14, Thursday Night Football against Dallas. Bears win a very, very close game. 9-4. Week 15 at Green Bay. Packers are not going to get swept, so 8-5. Week 16, home against Kansas City. I'm so excited for this game. I hope this doesn't get flexed out. I don't think it will. I think the Bears win a very close game. And week 17 at Minnesota, I have the Vikings winning. So that does it for this video. Yeah. So until next time, this is Unger to the Max signing off with a salute to you.